Hi, you're watching North Tuning. On this video I will do some modifications to the exhaust system of my track day car. Since the crankshaft I sent out for ballashing hasn't returned yet, the engine build is on hold, and this gave me some time to work on my other car. So for my track day car I use alfaholics exhaust system. It's a very nice looking and very well built exhaust system. Still, I think there are some things that aren't perfect and some things can be improved. First we will look at the angle at which the exhaust system leaves the head. So here we have a part of an alpha head. I placed a rod so you can see at which angle the exhaust leaves the head. I'll place measure the angle. This is the angle at which it leaves the head. Just checking. Well, it looks about right. Now we go over to the car. So now we're at the car and you can see that the angle in which the manifold does leave the head is very different to the angle it should leave the head. But there's no way we can adjust this. The only way is to make a complete new manifold. So another issue I have with this manifold is that the secondary runners are very short. They are 20 and 26 centimeters, and they should be, according to Jim Cutler-Marcus, 55 centimeters. So we'll adjust this. Another thing I will adjust is this angle. I don't like how the secondary merge. I will adjust this also. So now to see if the modification will have an effect. Yesterday I did some dyno runs with a standard alfaholic manifold. This is a street dyno. It uses the data from Dyno Studio, and it will produce a power graph of the engine. So after I modified the exhaust, I will do some pulls again and see if it worked. One thing you will notice is that my air-fuel ratio is very rich. This is because when I went to the dyno, I found out that my air-fuel ratio reading was way off. I had to run an air-fuel ratio of 8.5 to 1 to get an actual air-fuel ratio of 12 to 1. So this is why it seems that I run a very rich air-fuel ratio. It's also not very nice and stable because I haven't had the time to dial it in properly. So I've cut off the secondaries and I'm not really happy with what I'm seeing here. I can show you this lip here. They've just fed the secondary pipe into the collector, and it's a very pronounced lip on the inside of the collector. It hurts the flow and will lose definitely a lot of the scavenging effect. Okay, now the collector is ready. I fitted a new straight pipe. It's about 1 mil thinner than the original alfaholics pipe, and it's straight. These are the tools I used. I used a grinder to grind down the burrs inside, and then with the flapper discs I made the inside very smooth. This was the tool I used to modify the end of the pipe. Just put a pipe over and press it down with a press. Then you get a nice even flare, as you can see here. Now for the inside, you can see it's nice and even, and also this inside. Well, I hope it does some good and we have some extra horsepower. Wait and see. The manifold is ready, all welded up. I used my MIG welder combined with stainless steel thread and just a normal gas, argon with 20% CO2. I used little spot welds like this, 20% overlapping, 50% overlapping, sorry. Ideal would be TIG welding with backing gas. You can create a weld something like this, very beautiful, but you have to use backing gas to protect the inside of the weld. If you don't, this would be a perfect weld for a TIG weld, and this would be a TIG weld without backing gas, or MIG without backing gas. So the best I can do is make small welds and don't heat up the inside of the, just checking the inside of the pipes. Get it, yeah, focus. You can see there's almost no lip. The other pipe, and also the inside is perfect. So the results, I was expecting an improvement overall due to better flow, but we only improved in the range of the 4,000 and 5,000 RPM. The red and the blue line are the previous pulls I did, and the yellow and green line are the recent with the modification. So you can see in the first bit we're down on torque here. You can also see the air-fuel ratio is very rich. There is less air in the cylinder, and then here we start to improve. Here we go up, we come above, and this dip is out. It's a nice flat torque curve, and here you can also see the air-fuel ratio was going up because there was more air in the cylinder, and the injection amount was still the same. So these are the results. The next thing I will do is to place an expansion chamber after the tuned length of the exhaust. This is the expansion chamber I've built, like advised in the book of Jim Katlamakis, and also David Weishart. He advises the expansion chamber after your your exhaust manifold. According to David Weishart, it has to be 8 times the cylinder capacity of one cylinder. So this is about 8 liters, and I made a nice flare where the exhaust gases leave the expansion chamber, like this. For the rest, it's just a hollow chamber. This is the flare, and here you can see it's just, well, it's very dark. It's just an open chamber. Here you see the expansion chamber in place. It has one problem. It makes a lot of noise. As you can hear, it resonates like hell. Another problem I got is this damper got damaged when I drove my car into my friend's garage, and it caught behind a ridge. It's always wise to weld in a piece of metal like this, so this won't happen to you. Well, hindsight. Okay, now for the results. The red line is the unmodified alfaholics exhaust system. In the blue line you see where we have modified the manifold, and the green line is the modified manifold with an expansion chamber. Well, sadly enough, the expansion chamber didn't bring us anything. It made a lot of noise and the car was very sluggish in the low down RPM range. Also, you can see the air-fuel ratio is all over the place. This is a thing that has to be sorted out before we can do any more testing and modifications. Okay, I was expecting at least an improvement of 5% for all the hard work I did. Well, that didn't happen. In my opinion, the reason for this is that the system I'm using now on the engine, the exhaust system, is already too big, and you simply can't improve on a system that is too big by making it even bigger. I think that's the reason why we don't see the benefits in flow. Well, the next step will be to go down in manifold size. I have a manifold laying around, but first I will have to sort out the air-fuel ratio. So when I have time for this, I will see you on another episode.